everybody.
Hey,
We're back.
what's happening?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're doing a live show.
All right.
And I'm switching at the same time, so
You may have
see
seen
what happens.
You may have seen our recorded shows that we have online. If you go to www.mofur.live.
Yep, you saw that in the intro there.
MOFUR.
Yes.
.live.
Today is a special day. We thought we would do an episode of right after the election. We just voted yesterday.
Midterms elections.
Yep.
Yes.
Proposal 1 was the proposal. We voted on a proposal 1 in Michigan. You know, a voter-enabled proposal.
Yep.
A bunch of signatures were gotten, and then that gets onto the voters'
ballot.
ballot.
Yeah.
And proposal 1 was
Miracles happen.
the legalization of marijuana.
Marriage.
What? That happened?
It did.
I should have voted. No, I voted.
Okay.
I voted no.
10th state in the
Yeah.
union. Oh, I'm sure you did, Larry.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
you did.
I'm
but-
straight and narrow.
Well, your ballot is
Narrow
private.
to the ballot
you know?
to vote
Yeah,
for
I shouldn't have
medical
said it.
marijuana.
The
actually just legal.
interesting thing is that now is we're not the first state, but we're the first state in the Midwest, and
Yeah.
also, we had a medical marijuana thing that was approved a number of years ago.
Yep, 10 years ago.
Right, and this one is now passed for full recreational use.
Right.
Now, what's of particular interest to me was the large number of people that get incarcerated or have been incarcerated for narcotics, drugs, marijuana included,
Yep.
around the country and around the state. And you always hear about these crazy long sentences, and you often hear things about how minorities, people of color, have disproportionate arrest rates associated with
Yep.
drug or disproportionate incarceration rates, I should say, as well.
Seems to be the rule, generally.
And so, there's a social issue to it, but it's like, I kind of think about this stuff just kind of like alcohol,
Just
right?
readjusting the camera.
Yeah. With alcohol, they've not really been able to ever suppress that when that was illegal.
No, during the Prohibition, that's for sure. I know Michigan, we would secretly boat over to Canada and ferry booze back to Michigan, back to Detroit, and that was the history lesson of the 1930s there.
Yeah,
So
I don't think prohibition has ever worked for very long.
No.
In just about anything.
No, neither do I, and I think there's been great social consequences for it. And I myself, I'm really opposed to heavy use of drugs or those types of things. I think alcohol seems to affect people heavily. And obviously,
I think alcohol is probably the worst of them all.
Sure.
And currently opioids.
And
Yeah.
opioids, yeah.
Opioids and alcohol,
Yeah.
they are the most addictive in many ways, and it's the easiest stuff to get a hold of.
Right. And so if we can tax it and control it, and this bill, this new proposal 1 allows taxation to occur on marijuana and put that money to good uses, perhaps prevention, perhaps education, perhaps other treatment, but also roads. We've got terrible roads here in Michigan,
Yeah.
and all the money. And you hear about Colorado, how much revenue they're generating off of it, right?
A lot.
Yeah, which doesn't, from a moral standpoint, I can't really say, hey, we should do something because it's money. But,
Who's it? I don't know. Just what's
we
the big
spend a
deal?
lot of money putting people in jail over
We have.
stuff that's nonviolent.
Yeah.
I bet that alone we're going to save a whole bunch of money in Michigan.
Probably. I would guess.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of stats in front of me, but
Just a couple
I'm
of
for it. That's all I know. It's about time. I mean, it was a moralist. It still is this moralistic battle in the first place, and this I am more libertarian with each passing election, and I fully believe you shouldn't legislate morality.
right. Yeah.
Well, all through my life living in Michigan,
I can't believe we're here.
Yeah, ever since I was in middle school, I've seen people smoking pot like it's legal. And Michigan seemed to have had this attitude ever since I was young that it was legal anyways. And
never
it's
felt
just
that.
it's always been and always around. I don't think there was a week that I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere, sure. Especially
everywhere.
in the last 10 years since we voted for the medical, but
So you've
now
seen
it's
it
gonna be-
commonly in the education areas and stuff like that in schools. And those
Well,
types
the
of
problem is, there is the other flip side of the coin that once medical marijuana got legalized me being a public school teacher, I would smell it in the hallways and kids' lockers, smell it on them. It seemed to be more prevalent. So it did. There was, the negative side of legalization of marijuana is that it's gonna get in the hands of kids.
Yep.
And there's no doubt, even the medical marijuana, the kids are going into their dad's or mother's house. They know where they keep it. They steal it. And now, all they need to do is have just like alcohol.
Right.
They just need someone who's 21, to go get it for them. And there's always that person who's
Yep.
gonna buy booze for underage kids, and so there's now going to be people who are going to buy pot for underage kids, and
Yep.
or once again steal it from their parents or relatives or friends' house. So it's just going to
That's always gonna happen.
It's always going to happen,
It's always
but
gonna
that's
happen whether it's
that's
legal or not.
to
Well,
me
you're saying
yeah.
you've seen a increase in that
Oh, yeah.
over the last 10 years.
a big increase in
Yep.
a more sense from the younger kids that almost an emboldenment for younger kids to do all the smoking because it's legal. My dad has it, so I can take it too. And
Well,
so
it's no different than you wouldn't grab his pills, hopefully, his opioids that his doctor gave him. And,
yeah, well,
that
there you
happens
go.
Too,
And I never broke into my dad's liquor cabinet when I was in 11th grade. I never did that.
I didn't drink at all.
I didn't
Yeah,
do
of
that.
Of course you did.
I-
You
I
were a
didn't.
princess. You were a prince.
Princess.
Yeah, well, a prince or a princess? I don't know which one it is.
I
It
was a
depends.
prince.
Okay,
Prince,
well, I'm glad you were a
yes.
prince.
But so to me, it's that's always going to happen. You're always
Yep.
the kid wants to get into the dad's liquor cabinet.
Right.
He's going to figure out a way, or steal drugs or whatever. But because there's more of it now,
Yep.
it's just getting into more hands. So that's the only downside that I see of the law is that it's just going to be in the schools more, and the kids are emboldened
Yep.
to smoke it. And when I was in high school back in the early '80s, I would smell it. I would smell it every day. They would be smoking in the locker room. They would be. My high school had racquetball courts, and
Yep.
I called it pot smoking courts
Right.
because everybody would go into the racquetball courts, and I wanted to play racquetball, and I couldn't because it smelled like weed. And I would have to leave. So no one would blame me
You
for
can't
doing it.
play racquetball with the smell of weed?
Well, I didn't want to be blamed for it,
Oh,
when
right,
the teacher would
I
come
see.
by
Oh, right.
and I'd be playing
Neuhardt!
racquetball
Right.
in a
Sure.
smoke-filled chamber
Just
there.
running
Well, that's
from-
an interesting
just leaving the trouble.
Interesting
Yeah, sure.
anecdote. I mean, so in your experience, you're seeing an increase over the last 10 years.
Big increase over the
Yep.
last 10 years, especially at the high schools here in town.
Yep.
It's kind of hard not to walk the halls and not smell it in someone's locker.
Right.
And because it's it's not much of a there's so much of it that's all you would be doing. I think that school security would be hunting that down, and
Yeah.
Right.
they would spend so much
Yeah.
time doing it. So
Well,
I've
it
noticed
still is not going to be legal in a high school.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, the way I've read the law today so far, it's that you can't bring it to schools and you can't bring it to national parks because it's still.
Yep.
We can't forget it's
Federal.
still
Illegal federally, right?
illegal federally. No matter what we think, it is that. So
Right.
So, you can't have it in any federal buildings.
Yeah, or
you can't-
property,
properties.
or parks. Yeah,
You will
so
go
you
to
can't
jail.
go to Yellowstone and.
Yeah.
Well, that's
know.
not in Michigan.
Well,
You can't go
that's
to.
true anyways.
You can't.
but, yeah.
What's a federal park here in Michigan? You can't go to.
Manistee National Park.
Isn't it Mackinac as well? I think.
So
Yeah.
what do you think about the social consequences of legalization? Do you think there'll be much?
I just believe in liberty.
Right.
I believe. Let's
You-
let
you
people
believe
make
that
up their
there's-
own minds.
you
Let's
believe
let
that
people.
there's-
Let's let parents be parents and have to deal with the kids not getting it if they're into it.
But do you think there'll be an increase in costs to young children, an increase in usage as a result?
Maybe. But
Yeah.
I don't know that it's going to be all that terribly more damaging than alcohol has already been.
Right.
So I don't know. You for me, you contain your motor function better. So if they're on it and driving, they might have a better chance.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what the stats are, but it seems like there's not that many accidents with people just.
Well, part of what I think is
from
really
smoking.
important is to increase the cost and expense of things that probably aren't good for
I think
you.
we're going to save a ton of money because we're not going to be incarcerating a ton of people.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
too.
that's going to be the big balance.
And
black
perhaps we can
completely.
redirect that funding and
Oh, yeah.
towards prevention. And,
Yeah, because some people, there's
education.
moderation, and then there's always going to be
Right.
people that push their limits, and those people are going to need some help
Yep.
to get pushed back.
That's with anything. I mean, that could
Yeah,
be,
that's
you
with
could label that
anything.
under McDonald's addiction.
Absolutely.
Or, you
So
know,
you can-
Addiction's addiction.
To
Yeah.
go over the law, you can have in your possession 2.5 ounces
Up
of
to
marijuana.
10.
Up to 10 ounces.
At your house.
In your
Okay,
house,
10
but
in
you
your
don't
house,
carry.
and 2.5 with you.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a
That's a
lot.
lot.
That's a lot. I was amazed
Yeah.
at that amount.
If
Right.
anything, Larry, you brought up, you think that they're going to mess with it now that it's going to go into a lame duck session.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll be something they'll whittle away at. They'll say,
Well, they already-
2.5 that's it. You guys, are you crazy?
Well, in Michigan, they already set
That
up
might be a compromise.
They set up a whole set of laws and a while ago, about a year ago, to figure out how it could be sold and how it could be distributed and all of those types
Under
of
the
things.
medical
Yeah.
situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there may be additional legislation that's needed at the state level, but
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's
They're going to do something to it, certainly.
when is it? December 10th? Is that the date that it
December
officially?
10th,
Yeah.
2018, that's when this law, where it becomes decriminalized.
Decriminalized.
Yeah, decriminalized. So
Yep.
technically,
In Michigan only.
if
And
we
again,
smoke pot on
Michigan
this
only.
live show right now, they could swarm us, you know? Come
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
No, we're not.
Yeah, let's wrap it up here. Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. Well, that was a good first live show that we've done all together, I think. We actually planned.
Yep.
So I'm Sexy Hermit for Interview with Interesting Persons
Yep.
with your host.
Kevin Schoen and Larry Neuhardt.